Hello everyone and welcome back to... Wait a moment. This isn't Miwuvcraft. Ah, I know where I am. Welcome to the Pono realm. Why am I here and not Miwuvcraft? Well, I wanted to do a bit of warm-up and experimentations regarding terraining on Miwuvcraft. And where better to do that than right here where it all started. Where was I before Miwuvcraft? I was AFK in this spawning area of a skeleton spawner, operating an automatic sugarcane farm that makes a lot of sugarcane. And I was once in Netherite, but Netherite was lost in movement from Belangecko's hands to my hands on Java. So, for now, I'm not worrying about armor. In fact, I was just curious about the sugarcane for this time being. There is a lot of sugarcane, considering the fact that all these hoppers are full. Now, my goal is to work on some terrain. Nothing's changed down here so far. Still working on all of those. This is what I was working on before Miwuvcraft. My little alarm system. I need to put a portal in there. So, the terrain that needs to be worked on. I mean, obviously there is a lot of terrain here that needs to be worked on, but for Miwuvcraft specific terrain, I need to work on some ocean terrain. Not much of it, just a little bit here and there needs to be looked at. I need to come back to this at some point. Now, for Miwuvcraft ocean specific terrain, I need some stone. And the best stone location is essentially the remnants of this hole. That has provided me with the best stone here, and I must acquire the stone. The stone for the mountain range must be acquired. Stone. I want a load of stone. Here we are. Most of it must be out in shulker boxes. Because these are technically full chests, but maybe I've pulled out shulker boxes somewhere. Oh, well, I'll find them eventually. They can't be too far. Let us find a spot to build. So this is my mountain here on the Pona realm. It is very much a work in progress. I'm going to visit Merrymoth for the time being. Apparently they want me really quick. So they're still learning terrain. It doesn't look natural though. Oh, she has definitely been looking at my builds. To a extent. I think she looked at my waterfall. Anyway, I've got stone for a reason. Now, where do I want to do this? I almost feel like around here. So yeah, it's slow progress. Now, I'm thinking of doing rocks in the ocean of Miwuvcraft. Between me and Tosh. Let's drop that down by 2. This is not difficult terrain at all. What I want to build on Miwuvcraft, I am coming to realize, is hardly worth practicing. It almost feels this just feels too simple. This should work. Let's go there. Well, and I'll see if I can work some mud into this. I'm not sure I want mud here. I don't feel like mud works with this. Unless mud is used as the bottom block. Let's see. I don't know about this. What does it look like from this side? Yeah, so like that's fairly close to what I was after. Because then I was going to do some terrain connecting and make like small rocks jutting out of the water. Yeah, this is pretty much what I'm after. So in Miwuvcraft, I'm planning on doing 3 stone rocks in the ocean. Close enough to each other. The shapes are quite easy. It's just the detail that I might actually need to take a moment to stop and think about. This might be one of the rare cases where I might actually have to stop and draw what I want before I go into it. Yeah, building terrain is quite in my thoughts, well, I don't really need to think about doing this. It's just happening. There are not much thoughts going into my process as to how to build this terrain. So like here, I'm going to go one there, and then I'm going to want to grab that. Here, I'm just going to do that. And already, this is starting to feel fleshed out. You can sort of see what I'm after with this. This is too smooth. See how it's all twos? I don't like that. I see that, and my first instinct is something is wrong here. Now that looks a bit better. However, you've got the shapes. Down there, you've got a 3, and a 3. And I don't like the look of that again. So here, the option seems to be to break that. However, I want to break up this corner, so it's just going to be entertaining on Miwuvcraft to try and figure out what type of blocks and stuff I want to do. So I don't like the mud for water terrain, I don't think. In theory, I think if I come around here, I can fix up some of it, but just by bulking out a smidgen of the moss block grass. Because I can do this. If I knock that out, knock that back, do that. And then if I come down and just finish up this section here, like that is looking better than before. I do think this accurately portrays how I want to do the Miwuvcraft terrain. That's too flat. If something's too flat, you make it so it's not flat. I don't like that butterfly wing. Easiest fix I think is going to be knock that out, knock that out, knock that down, knock that out. I do want a little bit of a kick here, so let's once again change how that works. Doesn't need to be by much. This can't be flat, so let's knock those 2 out. Knock that one out and make it water source. Yeah, that's looking better. Okay. I'm quite happy with this so far, ignoring the mud around the back. Overall, this I think has turned out well on one side. How about this side? This side, same issue as before, bit flat, but I think that'll be fixed with intricate detail. Basically, in Miwuvcraft, I just now need to gather myself a bunch of stone, and I actually need to set up a moss farm, I think. I need to find a Java moss farm that works in 1.26. And then I will farm moss. Because I've got the big old mob grinder. And that's giving me a lot of bones. So I may as well make use of it. Don't tell me I'm going to end up terraining Miwuvcraft. I don't want to do too much, please. I just want to have fun and learn about the community. Hang out with the community. But here I am, putting effort into a starter base. A starter base. Not even a main base. Why do starter bases feel like they take so long? That's a starter base. And I never finished it. Well, this is funny. By virtue of how I've done it, this has been forced back up. Which is not what I was intending on having to do. Because now this means I need more moss blocks. Actually, I don't need to do more moss. I could make a little plateau. Obviously, I will need more moss, but still. Let me have a little freedom. Please. Yeah, so this has grown more complicated than I had intended it to be. Just an accident of not having a plan. Things just happen. This is sort of what I'm after. This is sort of what will probably end up being built on Miwuvcraft, ignoring the fact that it's not completed. This is more of a idea creator for me. And I'd say ideas have been created. Yeah, if I had Elytra on Miwuvcraft, it would be so much easier for me to get things done. I already have an entire chest full of rockets. All I would need is an Elytra. Because I've already got mending and unbreaking enchantment books, and I can simply fly around. It'd be interesting to see if I could explore more of the Nether. Well, explore a lot of the overworld through the use of speeding around the overworld through virtue of flying through the Nether. Because I was planning on looking for a better place for a final base. Ow. That was almost bad. Thankfully, on this server, keep inventory is on, so... Here is the old moss farm. This was Bedrock specific moss farm before it became Java. So I have plenty of moss tucked away in a corner. Yeah, this is looking much nicer now. The visualization, I think, has worked well. I've gained an understanding on what I want. So I know what I want for when I have the resources to it on Miwuvcraft. I am planning on having it scattered around the whole base in the ocean, along the front of the ocean, just off from the harbour, from the dock section. So yeah. Anyway, that's all for this non-episode of Miwuvcraft, and I'll see you when I start preparing for the build. So, thank you for watching, and have a good rest of your day.